Oh, did he go? Okay. Good.
Jim Marshall, would you please test your mic real quick just to make sure we're good before we get started?
Hello, hello.
Beautiful, I got you.
Okay, good.
Marissa, let me know when everyone's in.
Have a few stragglers, but you should be good to go.
Dave Burgess.
Dave, go ahead and mute you.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Marissa, I'm going to get rolling. Congratulations and welcome to the 2023 Girls Swimming and Diving State Tournament. We are going to talk a little bit today on all of the ins and the outs of our participation guide, we'll call it. And so this is being your qualifiers meeting. We're going to run through some things. Now, I'm going to be really open and upfront here with you. We've got a lot of content contained in these slides. So I'm not going to talk on every single piece of every single slide. The reason that we've done it this way is so that you can go back and reference the slideshow, which will be available on your coach's dashboard. And you won't need to watch the entire video for one thing that I said or didn't say or something like that. You should be able to reference the slides and that participation guide for just about everything that you need. So again, congratulations on being here. And Marissa, let's go ahead and hop into some introductions. All right, so our tournament management team. My name is Phil Archer. For those of you that I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet, I'm one of the associate directors here at the league, and I run boys and girls swimming, as well as a host of other sports as well. But my introduction into swimming last year with the girls state tournament, with this team that we have here, and all of you as coaches, has helped me to kind of embrace and learn the swimming world, and it's actually become pretty exciting and fun. So I am your tournament director. Chris Arseth on the call is your tournament manager, very veteran in this position, and really kind of my teacher, to be honest with you, in the swimming and diving world. So thank you for being here, Chris. You'll hear from him later on. Jim Marshall is our official supervisor, and he is supported with a regional official supervisor, Julie Singwald. They're on the call here today. Jim will get into a few things for us later on as we start to move into the actual tournament management piece. Nick Rizzo is our hometown ticketing rep that will be working with us on the ticketing. As everyone knows, we've got our digital ticketing and limited seating at the University of Minnesota Aquatic Center. So we've got some creative ways that we work around that to make sure we create a positive tournament experience for all of our spectators, families, friends, things like that. We've got Tim Layton on the call from the league. Tim will be talking some website and media stuff for us. As he normally takes care of for all of our tournaments and meets. We've got Linda McKee with the University of Minnesota, who will be joining us shortly. She's the aquatics director there at the University of Minnesota Aquatic Center. And then Marissa, most of you have been getting emails from or met or seen or talked to on the phone. Marissa is our support staff at the league that takes care of girls swimming and diving, and will be running our meeting with me today. So that is our tournament that is our tournament staff, and all of those individuals at some point in time will probably talk on something in this meeting that you can go back and reference. All right, so the purpose of this presentation here is to give you all of the ins and the outs of what you need to navigate the tournament, the meet for your program and your school. So every head coach is required to review this presentation, and all of these documents can be found on the dashboard, including the recording of this along with the slides. And so if you're watching this as a recording, pay special attention to the content of those slides, as there'll be key notes for you to go back and reference, and make sure that your assistant coaches have access to information in here as well, if not just sharing the video and the slides with them directly. So I mentioned that it will be housed on your dashboard. So once you're on your dashboard, you can find these resources by clicking on the sports and activities tab. That's kind of about a midway down into your dashboard. It's right in the center. It's a blue button there with that red arrow pointed next to it. Then from there, you'll get an entire list of all of our sports programs that we offer there. We've got girls golf here as the example. You will go to girls swimming and diving. You'll click on that little plus, and that will open up like an accordion, and it will give you all of your state tournament resources that will be there on the right side. So right there under girls golf, there's two things listed. On girls swimming and diving, you're going to have a whole plethora of resources that are there available for you, including this recording, the slides, participation guide, spectator guide, all of those good things will be housed in that spot. So dashboard, sports activities, girls swimming and diving, state tournament resources will be there on the right side of that page. Let's go ahead and move forward. Good deal. Here's your state meet schedule. Pretty self-explanatory. Take a peek of that. This is housed in all of the documents that are centered around this meet. You can go to check those out in several different places. Okay. Our team entry forms. So entry forms are due today by 4 p.m. to get to Marissa. These entry forms are going to be used as your official roster for the meet of sorts. So if you have to have people on that form to gain access to the pool deck at the University of Minnesota. So the link to that is housed on your dashboard as well. And get that in as soon as possible. That way we can start working on making sure that all of your coaches are certified and all of your student athletes are in a good spot. So again, only athletes that are listed on this entry form are eligible for competition and onto the pool deck. Chris, do you want to add anything on the relay alternate piece of that, or pretty self-explanatory?
It's pretty self-explanatory, but just remember to indicate your alternates. The four possible swimmers that you're going to have that more than likely are going to swim, mark with an X, and then your two alternates mark with an Alt, and then you can use any of the swimmers on your state meet roster for your relays.
Good deal. Marissa, let's go ahead to the next slide. Now let Chris take the dive sheet entries.
Sure. We want to make sure that you have your e-dive entries sent in by 10 p.m. tomorrow evening. As you can see there with the red circle, you'll see email entries, and that is where you want to check. And it's pretty wide open. It's very, very self-explanatory once you get there, and then just send them to myself. So that's it on the e-dive.
Go ahead, Marissa. We can go back to 8, Marissa. Okay, so we've got your any additional stuff there, Chris, on the labeling, Class A, Class 2A?
Just Class A, Class AA.
Yeah. Good deal. And then reminder, dive coaches are only allowed on the pool deck if you have a diver in the meet. Okay. Let's go ahead. Now, I mentioned coaches' education requirements, and the reason getting those in or having those coaches on there and getting that your roster in earlier rather than later so that we can double check this. Your coaches are required to have all of their CERs in place to be coaching in this meet, right? That's supposed to be done all year long to coach in any meet, any MSHSL meet. But we always double check this. And so one of the things Marissa brought to my attention was that we do have a handful of coaches on some of the forms that have been submitted that do not have all of these CERs completed. They have to be completed to gain access to the pool deck and coach during the state meet, right? So if you're a head coach or an AD on here, please double check that these requirements have been met. There's the 4 course requirements there on the right, the diversity, equity, inclusion, the mental wellness, inside out coaching, and the concussion. And then you've got your 2 sport specific. There's the general rules and the swimming and diving rules module. Those need to be completed or else you will not be allowed on deck. So go ahead, Marissa. All right. Speaking of the venue and access in different places, one of the resources that the MSHSL has put together through some of our student-led leadership initiatives are these behavior expectations. And so many coaches may not have heard of this, but I think a lot of ADs have. This is a resource for you to be able to use and share with your teams and your spectators on, I would say, best practices while you're at a meet or at any sort of competition where you're going to have spectators at. And so there's some very simple things on here that you can share with your communities before attending the state meet. That would help, just help create a good, positive environment for our girls to compete and win state championships in. All right, hopping into our ticket allotment. There's nothing really that's changed with our ticket allotment. Each school receives 15 tickets for each qualifying relay and 3 tickets for a diver or an individual qualifier. Okay, and so many of your ADs are going to get 15 tickets or 30 or 45 tickets, or they'll get 33 tickets because they've got 2 relays and a diver or something along those lines. So those are what the ticket allotments look like. And they are all based on your section results, and seats are assigned on a rotating basis. So you'll get access to those a little bit later. Let's go ahead. All right, and here's our ticketing timeline. If you look today, the 13th, your schools will receive your passcodes for the tickets that they are allotted and those numbers. Tomorrow at 8 a.m., those tickets will go live. Those passcodes will be able to be used. And just a heads up here, diving, there's no passcodes, diving prelims. Those tickets will just be available at 8 a.m. So from 8 a.m. Tuesday until 8 a.m. Wednesday, people with those passcodes have, they are the only ones that have not the limited access, but they have exclusive access, excuse me, I was trying to think of the right word, to purchase their tickets from 8 a.m. Tuesday to 8 a.m. Wednesday, okay? All passcodes for swim prelims and swim and dive finals will expire at 8 a.m., and then Wednesday at noon, the public seating will open. So any seats that are left after Wednesday at noon will be available for anyone to purchase at any time. That is your ticketing timeline. Let's go ahead, Marissa. Cost and payment. Pretty self-explanatory here. Ticket codes are going to be emailed to the qualifying school's AD and coach after this meeting. So you should get an email right around 1 o'clock-ish or so with all of those. And it's your responsibility to distribute how you see fit to your parents and other community members that would be interested in attending. Okay. I'm going to have Nick Rizzo talk a little bit here about the purchasing process and all those things around that, but read the instructions carefully and make sure that you're communicating clearly to your community. If you're going to have them going out and buy those tickets, get them as much information as you can. Hometown Ticketing has been an awesome partner for us, and I've done 2 meets now with them, and we've had very, very little issues, and I'm excited to work with them. The prices are below for all of the different tickets. And again, all electronic tickets on Hometown Ticketing. There's no set ticket price for students. Everything is $12 or $9 depending upon which session you're attending. Let's go ahead, Marissa. All right. So each code will unlock 1 ticket in your school's designated seating section. These codes are good for both prelims on Friday and finals on Saturday. So basically, that ticket code can be used twice, once per day. Okay. How you assign the codes, again, those are up to you, but you're allotted that ticket amount based on the qualifiers that you have, relays or individuals. All right. Other quick ticket policies here. No will call service. That's pretty self-explanatory now at this point that we've gone all digital. Class A student participants are required to purchase tickets if they want to attend the 2A competitions and vice versa. Everyone's got to have a ticket except for any children that are younger than 2. So if they've had their 2nd birthday, then they will need a ticket. There's no passes or comp tickets on this one. But one thing I will note that we changed last year is that on your AD state tournament pass, girls and boys swimming is now included as that pass no longer says you're not able to get in. So you're able to attend for standing room only if you have your state tournament pass as an athletic administrator. So that is good. You'll want to check in and use the south entrance to the aquatic center for that one. So that's something that did change. You can use your AD state tournament pass to get in, and it will be standing room only. So for many years, the U of M, weren't able to do that. You needed to purchase a ticket. That's one of the things that I think going online and doing some digital ticketing has freed us up to do. So that's a big deal that I'm excited about. I remember it was kind of a pain to always have to go buy a ticket and do the will call thing as an AD attending the state tournament. So hopefully this frees you up a little bit and gives you one less thing to worry about, ADs. Let's see, general admission for diving prelims. Tickets for diving prelims will be sold on Tuesday starting at 8 a.m. as I mentioned earlier. Reserve seating for swimming prelims and swimming and diving finals. And then we're looking for no re-entry, okay? All right, so I'm going to pass it over to Nick Rizzo with Hometown Ticketing to talk a little bit on instructions for utilizing your passcodes tickets. Nick?
Thanks, Phil. So, hey, everyone. Great to work with you guys again. Like Phil said, I think we're on to tournament 6 here and 4 with Phil. So, got this process down pretty well now. So you'll go to the website just like you do for any other event, and then you'll select the event you want to purchase. It's important that you make sure you choose Class A or Class AA, and then which day you want to purchase. So you're going to click Find Seats and then enter your first code. Now, the thing here is you can only use one code at a time. So if your family, you say you give someone 4 tickets to each day, they're going to have to do 8 separate purchases, 4 for day 1 and 4 for day 2. I understand that is not convenient, but in order for us to allow as many people as we do to come, that is the best way to allow them to have that access and you to give the tickets to who you need to. Pretty simple process. You'll hit Find Seats, enter your code, and then you'll go to checkout and purchase ticket. And you'll repeat those steps, like I said, every time. I think you go to the next slide. There's a video here if you want to share that with your families. It just walks you through that step by step. Real easy to do. And then they can you present their tickets. So you tell them, hey, some people who haven't used digital ticketing is, my great grandpa doesn't have a phone. How can you get in the game? You can print them out a ticket and hand it to them. You could show it on the smartphone. You could show it as a PDF in the email, or you could, in our fan app, you can download it, show it in the fan app, or add it to your Google or Apple wallets as well. So tons of options there. If your fans have any questions, this is where they should go. Our support team, this is their they've been trained on this as well. They have a list of everyone's codes and where they sit. So they should be able to help your fans out very well. And then if you guys have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to help with you guys. Please don't share this with your families. Please share that fan support number with them. They'll be able to walk you through. But if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Nick. I appreciate that. So a couple of things here before we move on into the spectator seating aspect. So one, thanks to Nick for doing that. And then 2, that video that talks you through the process, that is underneath those state tournament resources, utilizing that same process, going through your dashboard and selecting girls swimming and diving and things along those lines. So that video is housed in that same spot where I told you there's a ton of different resources. So let's hop into spectator seating. So you can enter through the north or the south side. There's ticket takers at both, or ticket scanners at both of those north and south entry there. So you can use those. Spectators restricted to the spectator gallery. So they're not allowed on deck. And they're not allowed to bring folding chairs or noisemakers, balloons, any of those kind of just your general things. So please just share this stuff with your community so that no one's caught off guard. I will say, and Tim Layton's going to talk about it a little bit later, we do have an entire spectator guide that you can share directly with your community through a link and an email or however you wish to do that. But we've got some different resources there. I just want your communities as prepared as possible to come and cheer you on and have a positive experience. And part of that is communicating with them so they know what to expect. Okay, let's hop into our team entrance here. So very similar to years past, we're going to use that north landing entrance to come and go on the pool deck for all of our teams. And so you will come in through the north side. So you'll want to have your bus drop you on University. Oh, there we go. You'll want to have your bus drop you on University, and you'll see signs like this pointing you down a stairway to kind of divert you from going into those north doors at the aquatic center. You'll go down that stairway and you'll come to those doors in that picture you see on the left side of your screen. And that's where you'll come in, go downstairs, and you'll check in at our pass gate entrance. Okay. Let's keep moving forward here. And so we've got our pass gate and registration here. So you'll come down those stairs on that using that north area landing there. And each coach has to report to pick up your team packet at their sections assigned time. So if you look here, we've got the 2 columns. Now, this is all included in your participation guide, but for reference here, we've got our we'll go with Class A, Section 1 and 2. Their time to come and check in is at 9 a.m. Okay. Chris, Marissa, I would just open the floor up real quick if you would like to add anything on the check-in and registration process.
Make sure that you have your kids in order, that you have put them on the entry sheet so that it's easier for our folks, Joe and the people helping them down there, check through the line as quick as possible. You're able to check in, and you can, especially on prelims, you can check in. We can sit you up in the seating area, and then once we open the deck for seating, you'll be able to come down on deck. For the practice sessions, please, like it says, do not show up at any other time than your assigned time.
Perfect. And then lastly, I'm just going to throw in on this one is as coaches, we set the standard. We set the expectation for our team and our program. That pass gate area can get congested. It can get tight sometimes. And so in those events where it might be congested or there might be a backup while they're working through something, I would ask that you have the highest standard in just being positive down there. Set that good example for your team as you're navigating that space. I think that's again, going back to having the highest standard when conducting that registration process and going through there is a big deal, and setting a good example for your team. Marissa, all right. So during Thursday's practice, league officials will stamp the hand of each coach and contestant and relay alternate. Hand stamps allow them to enter the facility and gain access down to the pool deck and the locker rooms during their respective meet, A or 2A. All right. Coaches and athletes without a hand stamp will be denied admittance. And then there's also no admittance at any state tournament or meet for anyone who is not at least in the 7th grade. So this applies to the pre-meet practices and everything as well. So got to be in 7th grade there. And there are no student managers on deck. This is something that changed during COVID and has not changed back. And we'll continue down that path to keep the deck clear and moving. All right. So that practice schedule is again located in that same spot where I directed you to before, utilizing your dashboard, sports activities, girls swimming and diving, and then you'll see your state tournament resources there on the right-hand side. Those practice sessions are closed to the public, and only coaches and your athletes with a hand stamp are going to be allowed in the aquatic center during those practice sessions. So those are closed. There should be no one but coaches and teams. Next. All right, our deck seating assignment. Pretty simple. Coaches, divers, swimmers, and divers will be allowed to sit on their bench during the pool. In the pool deck during their session. So Class A folks can't hang out during the 2A ones and vice versa. And the north side bleachers are going to be reserved for 5 through 8, and the south side will be 1 through 4, and that'll be for both Class A and Single A. All right. Same with the locker room assignments. We do provide locker rooms if needed. A couple of things on those locker rooms. The north side locker room will go for the teams that are seated. The section teams are seated on the north side. The south side will be for the teams that are seated there. There'll be a locker room attendant, and girls only are allowed in the locker room. So coaches, different things like that. Let's let our girl competitors only in locker rooms. Obviously, if there's a female coach that needs to go attend to something, God bless you, do your thing. But those are female locker rooms only. And I say that because one locker room is labeled men's, one locker room is labeled females. Girls only in the locker room spaces during this meet. Okay. Couple other little notes on locker room. There are lockers available. You'll have to bring your own padlock and towel if you'd like to utilize those. And each participants responsible for their securing their valuables. So if you got a lock, that's great. I would advise your student athletes not to leave stuff in the locker that's valuable, that's not locked. Okay. If there's something they're concerned about, have them bring their bag back out or give it to mom and dad or leave it in the car or leave it at school. But they can have a lock and utilize it if they need it. But I'm strongly suggesting that you secure any valuables. Okay. Locker rooms are going to close 25 minutes following the event. And I would ask that you have a conversation with your student athletes about making sure that the locker room looks nicer than it was when we got there. Let's leave it nicer than we were. We want to be a good steward of the spaces that the University of Minnesota allows us in so that they want to have us back. All right, our coaches' changing room. I just mentioned that there's no or it's females only in the locker room. Coaches have their own restroom and changing room in that dry corridor. So as you're coming to check in at our pass gate, that registration table there, directly across from that is a pair of doors that go down into that dry corridor there. And there's a access code that you'll need to get in there. Our people that are at the pass gate will be able to provide you with that and let you get access to it. Again, I would not leave any valuables or any clothing in there. This is not really like a set locker room to leave things, but it's very easy to change and then pop back out to the swim deck to do your coaching. So again, be responsible for your own valuables. And it's asked for us not to use the U of M's rec sports men's or women's locker rooms there. So again, change, grab your stuff and come on out. And then there's those restrooms that are there that are very convenient for coaches to utilize as well. All right, our tournament headquarters. That is on the north side of the pool deck. And that's restricted to authorized personnel only. So unless there is an issue or unless there's a special need that needs to be addressed immediately, this is an area that's off limits to coaches or ADs or anything unless they're invited in there. There's too many moving parts and too many things going on and too many conversations being had for that space to be open. If there's a need for you to be in there, a tournament manager, our officials coordinator, or myself will pull you into that room to do that. But that's where I will be located the majority of prelims, so Thursday, Friday, and Chris Arseth and some of the other support staff will be there as well as the University of Minnesota. So that's that, and that will be labeled with Marissa, is it a pink sign again like you have here, or is it different?
No, it's a pink sign.
It's a pink sign, so it'll be labeled in a very similar pink sign there. Let's go ahead and move forward. Good deal. So just to the right of our headquarters, if you're looking at that north beach bleacher bank, there is where that race ready area is at. And so that place will be marked and stanchioned off, just like you see here, and just as it has been in years past. But there's no coaches allowed in the race ready area during competition. And the meet announcer is going to announce each individual and they will be checked in to make sure that they are there and they've got the proper names and everything by the floor director that will be there to get everyone lined up. Okay. I want to pass it over real quick right now to Jim Marshall to touch on some of our uniform rules and prohibited items.
Thanks, Phil. Listed in front of you are some basic outlines in regards to uniform rules. Note: swim caps may include competitor's name, school name, abbreviation. And this was a change that we made, and or a school-approved nickname, mascot, or logo. And again, that change was made because a number of years back when the rule was written, which stated it had to be the school nickname, mascot, or logo. We had schools, and the best example is Northfield. The Northfield are known as the Northfield Raiders. Their swim team is known as the Northfield Gators. And they're both approved by the school. That one particular sport, swimming, they are called the Gators, not the Raiders. And so we made that change in the rule that it's a school-approved nickname, mascot, or logo. I want to stress a couple things. Number one, if you are coaching a co-op team that is splitting for the state meet, in other words, if Fergus Falls and Alexandria were a co-op team during the regular season and they are splitting if you wear a co-op cap, that it will be considered an illegal cap. If you're swimming from Alexandria and you're wearing a co-op cap that has Alexandria and Fergus Falls on it, that will be considered an illegal cap. You cannot wear that cap at the state meet. And also any USA cap, college cap, or anything like that is not allowed at the state meet. Commemorative patches and memorial patches have to be approved by school administration. They should have been approved long before now and then submitted to the league office for final approval. We do not allow any rub down lotions, oils, or adhesive sprays. There is no on-site shaving. No glass containers of any kind, including a water bottle that is glass lined. No glass containers are allowed whatsoever. Phil mentioned balloons, lawn chairs, banners and signs, etc. Tripods, camera stands. None of that is allowed. Just to be clear on a couple things, it will be announced at least twice, if not 3 times, 4 times. Any athlete with any tape issues, the coach and that athlete need to come to the scorer's table. At that time, myself or Julie Singwald will want to see a letter from a medical professional indicating the reason for this tape. I want to stress a couple things. This just doesn't apply to kinesio tape. This applies to any type of tape, including a Band-Aid. Okay, so if your athlete happens to be swimming in warm-ups and tears a toenail off and it is bleeding, and they have to go to a trainer to get a Band-Aid put on that toe to keep it from bleeding, we need to see that athlete and or the coach. It's not just kinesio tape, it's any type of tape that is put on. And again, that will be announced several times so that we can see that and approve it. The other point I'm asking is that any type of electronic pacing devices, any type of watch, etc., we're asking that be removed, that the athletes not wear that during competition. I want to stress that again. Now, we are aware of the fact that some of these watches are not really watches, but they're a diabetic monitor. That can be worn. Also, the diabetic pumps that athletes wear on their arms or on their leg, we do not need to see a note in regards to those items. A diabetic pump that's worn, it's a small little plastic piece that's worn for that reason. We do not need to see anything on that. Please remove any type of electronic pacing device, and it's not a bad idea if the athlete is wearing a diabetic monitor on their wrist, like a pacing device, that you let us know about it ahead of time. Please understand, there are 36 officials on that deck. That's 36 pairs of eyes that are watching and looking at everything. In the race ready area that's run by Jane Luke, believe me when I tell you, if she has any questions about anything, she will call myself over or Julie Singwald to take a look at it. And one final piece in regards to suits. The FINA logo is not required on suits. We prefer it because it tells us the suit is legal, but if the suit does not have a FINA logo, I will be called over to take a look at the suit to be sure that it does meet all the requirements as far as permeability, etc., in the rule book. If they have a FINA logo, that's great. I don't have to worry about it, but if it doesn't have a FINA logo, I will be called to look at it. But it is not required that your suit have a FINA logo. I've got numerous emails on people that are buying new suits for this meet and coaches that are ordering new suits for the meet, and this suit doesn't have a FINA logo or it doesn't have a World Aquatic logo on it. Is it legal? It is legal as long as it meets the requirements as listed on pages 24 and 25 of the rule book. It does not have to have that logo. Phil, that pretty much covers things for me so far.
Good deal. Thanks, Jim. I appreciate that. All right, let's hop into our relay designations. So coaches are required to designate their relay team members each day of the meet to that below address there, the mshslrelays@gmail.com. So I'm going to take a few minutes and just make sure that we're all clear on all of the relay information. Chris, I'm going to open it up to you to say a couple of things too as I'm moving through these slides as well, and Jim and Linda. All right, let's go to 34 here, Marissa. So prelims, relay designation, email for all relays must be submitted 30 minutes before the start of the prelims on Friday. At this time, medley relay is officially designated. All right. All emails for all relays will be confirmed with an email response. So it's in red. I'm going to repeat it, all those different things. If you don't get a response from Linda McKee's office that relay was received, double check or resend it and double check with their office just to make sure that we're all good there. I don't want to have anyone missing out or have miscommunication or anything. So when Linda McKee's office gets that email of your relay team, she will always confirm with an additional email that it was received. Chris, all good there?
Yep, that's correct.
Perfect. Okay.
And Phil, if I can just add,
yep.
This is very, very critical and very important. And as Phil said, if you don't get a confirmation email, you better find somebody and check on it immediately. We don't want to deprive anybody of an opportunity to swim at the state meet because there was a glitch somewhere in an entry. So find out and be sure that it is confirmed.
Yeah, and I'm okay. Again, just to echo what Jim said, like I would hate to lose the opportunity for kids to swim or to be counted or anything. So if you feel like you're bugging Jim, Chris, or I asking, or Linda, you're not. That's what we signed up for. So if you got to double check, if you're not 100% sure, please get one of us. And I mean, primarily Linda's going to be the best person because she's actually receiving the emails, but double check and triple check. Let's make sure that we're all good there. Here's our schedule. As far as any of those the prelim changes. So those are there for you. Chris, anything you want to add on that?
No, just, I mean, that's very self-explanatory right there.
All right. Let's go ahead and move, Marissa. All right. So then on your email, your relay designation for your finals. So coaches will submit an email with the relay members for each participating relay. And your subject line, just to keep this kind of uniform and help you out. I didn't go into this much detail last time, but I'm going to go do it this time. In your subject line, put your class, your school name, event, and session. So a great example right there is Class 2A, Mounds View 200 medley relay prelims. And so if you submit it like that, that's the easiest way for Linda to get to it quick. And in the body of the message, make sure that you've got the full names and the order of the individuals on your relay. So example, your starter, Jackie Smith, 2, Jane Dell is pretty, like, I don't want to get too comical about it, but it is a serious thing that we want to make sure that we're getting all the names, the order, and the right information over to Linda for the relays. Go ahead. Next one, Marissa.
And Phil, just on that bottom line, make sure that you do have to submit an email, even if you are not changing for finals. And like it said on the bottom line, no change.
Yep. So if no changes to your relay team are made between prelims and finals, an email confirmation of relay order must still be sent. So you still got to submit, even if there's no changes. Okay. And then we've got our schedule again as far as submission time there as well for your relay for finals. Okay. Jim, I'll pass it to you to talk about takeoff pads.
Okay, for those of you that this is the first time at the state meet, we use relay takeoff pads. You'll notice there's a picture there of one that's on the block, and we use it for all relays and relay takeoffs. This was a suggestion from the Coaches Advisory Committee many, many years ago. Even though we had dual confirmation on relays, they wanted to take it a step further and make it a little bit more secure and a little bit more better for all the athletes. So relay takeoff pads, once they were perfected to the degree that they are perfected, we now use them at the university. We do follow the guidelines as listed on page 107 of the rule book. Those guidelines are strictly followed. A DQ will occur if electronic equipment and each takeoff judge, or dual confirmation by both takeoff judges, if the relay takeoff pad shows a differential of a negative 0.10. If it's a negative 0.09 to a negative 0.01, then we only need confirmation from one judge and the relay takeoff pad. If it's 0.0 up through 0.09 or positive 0.09, it's a legal takeoff. 0.0 is a perfect takeoff. And if you have a perfect takeoff, we take the time to tell you you couldn't make that takeoff any better. We do follow these guidelines very carefully, and the last thing you want to see is Julie or myself walking down the side looking for you, especially after a relay, because then we have something to discuss. But they've worked fine. We've had a great response from all the coaches on it, and we'll continue to use them.
Perfect.
Go ahead,
Thank
Phil.
you, Jim. All right, kind of rounding things out here in the actual competition piece. Saturday, medals will be presented immediately after each event to the top 8 finishers. The U of M, I believe, was refurbishing or replacing some of their awards podium, so that might look a little bit different. I'm not quite sure what that's going to look like until I get over there on Wednesday, but it will be a very similar process of us awarding medals to the top 8 finishers and them being recognized. And then the team trophies will be awarded to first, second, and third place teams at the conclusion of the total meet. Okay, and so we'll do a thing there on those podiums where they will be presented and have the ability to take pictures and the like. All right, let's go ahead and move forward into some other more general information here. So on the awards, award recipients are required to wear their school-approved warm-ups that reflect well of swimming and diving during and after the award ceremony. So the onesie that has someone look like Kermit the Frog or this or that, not acceptable, right? The big goofy hat, things like that. So we prefer them. And in my experience over the last two meets, coaches have done a really good job of sending kids up there in their jackets or their big parkas, stuff like that. So only the award winners are allowed to take part in the award ceremonies, no substitutes. And please note that coaches and team members are not allowed to enter the award areas to take photos. So we've got a team photographer that will be taking pictures of each one of the award winners. And so they'll be there, but we don't want to cloud up that walkway between the dive well and where the awards are at there. Let's go ahead and move forward, Marissa. All right, so now getting more into the logistics aspect. We'll bring Tim Layton in here in a second to talk a little bit about the media and the spectator aspect of the meet. I want to talk with you a little bit about parking. So the University of Minnesota's got a lot of stuff going on. It is a busy place. And in particular, this time we're going to have a lot of other events happening around campus as well. So allow some extra time for not just your bus to get there, but communicate to your spectators and your families as well that it's going to take a little bit of time to park and get into the venue. So allow some extra time when traveling to and around the University of Minnesota campus. Parking is available at the lots near and around the East Bank campus. So we've got the university lot there. We've got Washington Avenue lot that is obviously accessible through Washington Avenue. We've got there's the 4th Street ramp that's down a little bit further towards their tennis facilities on University. So there's 3 main big ramps that are right there for your use. And then there is some side kind of street parking as well, metered and things along those lines. Just keep an eye on where you're parking. If you have any people asking questions about that, just tell them to be smart and make sure that it's not a permit only spot or lot or something that they're going to have some trouble with. Okay. Let's go ahead and move forward there. All right. I'm going to pass it over to Tim right now to talk a little bit about cameras, media, spectators, things along those lines. Tim?
All right, very good. Thanks, Phil, and good afternoon to everyone. It's my pleasure to be able to be your guide through these next handful of slides as you prepare busily for participation in the girls' state swimming and diving meet at the University of Minnesota. Many of you administrators I'm seeing for the second time today. Earlier today, we had a football meeting, and now we switch gears to the swimming state tournament. It's been mentioned a couple of times in the chat today, in conjunction, in partnership with the venues that host state tournament events with the high school league, cameras, not only the still, but also the video cameras are not going to be permitted in any of the state tournament venues. Please share this information with your constituents. This information is on ticketing pages, it's on activity pages, and now it's brought to you here again. Please let them know this ahead of time. Only the approved and credentialed media that are approved through the league are the only ones permitted to bring in cameras, and that's just still photography. Somebody had asked earlier in the chat about All-American consideration. If you need video documented proof from that, the Minnesota State High School League's streaming partner is NSPN.TV. They will be covering everything from start to finish with the all 3 days of the girls swimming and diving event. If you need video evidence, that can be one resource that you go to. So this is a big tutorial piece here on the cameras. It's not just here, but it's across all venues that are associated with the Minnesota State High School League. Next slide, please. The tournament media pieces, all the media, if there are any media on this call, and sometimes there are, the credential deadline to do that is 7 o'clock Wednesday. They should know this process. For the administrators around this call, there is not an opportunity for student media pieces or the faculty advisor piece with the swimming and diving state meet. Next slide, please. Here's an aerial view of the event on this week, and this is information that is shared with the media so that they understand their footprint and where they could be. The 2 stars that you see on the left portion of this diagram, those are the 2 areas where media have been told that it is okay for them to conduct interviews. Our guidance to media folks is to do your interviews swiftly. We don't need an entire recap of the entire season done at these location areas, particularly the staging area. Mrs. Luke will shoo you away quite quickly. She runs a tight show on that side, so she will shoo you away. She will show you grace, the media and the participant, because that's part of the experience here, is being interviewed by a member of the media. But anyway, those are the two areas. Typically, the star on the upper portion of this graphic, that's where interviews take place after diving competitions, or if the participant has their section on the other side of the pool. You'll see I've got a little arrow there for the photographer. They are not allowed to be in front of the head table at the beginning of a race, but after a race has begun, they are able to show some movement and go to near the finish line. Their instructions are, do not interfere with any officials, any tournament personnel. So you may see some movement there of media folks. So this slide is just to give you a feel for the movement that you'll see from the media folks. And you certainly can grant interviews, but let's keep those interviews in those areas with the star. Moving on. The Minnesota State High School League's website is a robust site. It's a one-stop shop, really, for all information for all of our activity events. As you see by this slide, it's a resource for you to go and find all of the information that some of the information we've already talked about. But if you have questions or concerns from your constituents or your communities, here's a great place to drive them. Next up. Tournament Apparel, we are so thrilled with our relationship with Signature Concepts, and I'm going to toss this back over to Phil for just a moment, and because he can talk about this because he is really plugged in to our partnership with Signature Concepts. Phil?
Perfect. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate that. Yeah, Signature Concepts have done a phenomenal job working with us for all of our state tournaments here since they came on board last year with the league. So they've done a great job. They have exclusive stuff for the kids that is designed tournament by tournament. So I'm pretty excited about it. They do have online availability, and they're going to be doing their state tournament merchandise sales right out of one of the concession stands that is up there in the lobby area, just as they did last year. So should be. I saw the piece. Actually, Marissa, if you'd like to scroll forward one, this is kind of a teaser of the stuff that they've got this year, so you can share that with your community. And going back to their online piece, their online purchases are available until the Tuesday following the meet. And so if there's, for whatever reason, they ran out of a size or they did something like that where the piece that someone wanted wasn't available, they can still order it online. But I tell you, Signature Concepts, part of the reason we ended up partnering with Signature Concepts is because they're just down the road and they can reprint stuff for us immediately if we have to. In fact, that happened last year where they ran out of a certain size. They went back and printed some more so our kids could get what they wanted. So they've been a great partner, as Tim said, and I'm excited to work with them. And I think the kids have received what they what they've brought to the table really well. So it's been kind of exciting to see. Go ahead, Tim.
All right, very good. As shared earlier, NSPN.TV, that's the league's streaming partner for all of our state tournament level events and beyond. They are quite active during the section meets as well, and then during the regular season for dozens and dozens of member schools. You can tune in to the stream coverage. It's $30 for a yearly subscription. That's the entire school year. So if you choose to go that route, you not only will be able to enjoy it for this girls swimming diving meet, you can also use it for the boys as well. $10 a month is another option. This last week, the viewership was just off the charts for NSPN, and just the quality of streaming has gotten so sharp and so awesome over the last handful of years, and the league is really proud to be able to partner with NSPN.TV. And I've got one more here to wrap things up. And the online program for our state meet is in a digital format. It is an online piece that you can print out or have on your device. And here's the path that allows you to find that girls swimming and diving state meet information. As I close out, I want to congratulate all of you. If you are on this call today, that means you and your participants have had just a terrific season, and best wishes this week as you prepare for what's an exciting conclusion to a great season. Phil, back to you.
Thanks a lot, Tim. I appreciate that insight on a couple of those different topics there. Again, I want to just stress, and I shouldn't say stress, just say if there's questions or things that are needed at the time of the meet, this is your tournament management team. Chris Arseth is your tournament manager, Jim Marshall, Julie Singwald, John Brandt of the ticketing. All of the U of M staff have been phenomenal, and then Marissa and I to round things out. If there is confusion, if you need something, don't hesitate to reach out. My priority is one, making sure the kids have an awesome meet and an awesome facility, and two, making sure the spectators have a great experience as well. And so this is the state meet. This is the pinnacle of girls swimming for the year, and I'd like to make sure that it's a memorable one for them as far as from a competition standpoint. So our tournament staff is committed to making that happen in as many ways as possible. And so communicate with us if there's something that we can do or something that you need done. Okay. With that, we've covered a lot of different topics today. My goal was to be 45 minutes. We're a few minutes over that, probably just because I rambled on something I probably shouldn't have. But we hit a lot of topics, from ticketing to submitting of your dive and relay sheets to stinking parking around the University of Minnesota. There is a lot of stuff in here. Might be worth it to go back through the recording or at least the slides and take down any notes or any questions that you might have, and then reference these to make sure those questions can get answered. There's a ton of stuff in here. So 99% of your questions are going to be able to be answered in the participation guide, the slide, or perhaps this video. Okay. So don't hesitate to reference that. Please share this information with your assistant coaches, and then share the proper information out of here with your community so that our spectators and families have a great experience at the state tournament as well. I'm going to just lastly, before we sign off and, finally say congratulations and all those things, I want to make sure Jim Marshall and Chris Arseth don't have anything else they want to add for coaches or ADs. Jim, Chris?
No, I'm good. If I can be of any help and you see me on deck, come up and ask a question. I'll do the best to get you an answer.
Perfect. Good deal. Chris?
I'm good too. Good luck, everyone. See you this week.
Awesome. Best wishes in this meet. We're excited to see all of you down there on Thursday and Friday, and we're going to have an awesome experience. Congratulations again. Welcome to the state meet. See you later on this week. Have a good one.